Record. We are recording. It's 3:00. Give it a minute. Let's relax a second. Oh, these days are long and go by quickly. How are both true at the same time? I don't know. So, we played D&D last night, the DMs and I. I think it went fine. Thank you, Nick, for being my rules attorney. Keep me knowing. Honest to God, it's the first time I ever ran 5e. I probably should have reread all the combat rules. Well. It's fine. We'll all get there. And my favorite part of the night, my totally favorite part of the night, was when people came into your various rooms, and you're like, "No, I'm doing this for class," and nobody believes you. And I'm in my little Brady Bunch window going, "Professor, professor, yes, they're really playing with the professor." And
So where can we sign up for that?
yeah, we had a dad, we had a little brother, and we had a roommate, none of whom believed that any of you were actually doing homework.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was great. Every time it happened, it was fun. So at this point, let's move on to the next thing. Ian should have been making y'all met literally. It was always Aaron. No, Sebastian had his roommate come in, and didn't believe, and I think it got a little bit into the conversation, and then Sebastian muted, so we didn't hear the end. So whatever. So I sent you the link to the place to buy the adventure. I just want to be clear, everybody has to buy the adventure. It was your brother, Sebastian? Okay. I don't know. Sounded about your age. I figured the two of you were roommates. I don't know. Some of you are home with family, and I've had other students who are still in their apartments in Worcester, and even other students who are actually still in the dorm in Worcester. So wherever you are, stay safe, wash your hands, once you have played the adventure, DMs should send that link to all their players to read the adventure. Okay. I'll put it out next Monday for everyone. But if you play on, I don't know, a Thursday night or Friday night, and everyone's played, there's no reason why you can't go download and read the thing, right? So that said, I want to let's do Right Club first. It's Tuesday, so it's Right Club. I'm actually gonna go over last week's Right Club because I am prepared today. So we got a whole bunch of entries in the name a first person shooter that is also is based on Jane Austen. We got lots of them. So I'm going to read you some of the good ones. These are not necessarily all the good ones. There were lots of good ones, but these are the ones that, as I read them, I was like, I chuckled. Um, uh, First one, Northanger Abbey, Heretics Unleashed, which is a little long, but at 4 words, I think we can take it, and it's still got the colon in there. Heretics Unleashed. Um, so it goes with Northanger Abbey, or North. Is it It's Northanger Abbey, right? North. Eh. Um, but it gets me that first person shooter feeling. Oh, now I'm okay. Um, then this was hilarious because it was just so silly. Emma enemy mega mech airship. See, it's a EMMA, right? Enemy mega mech airship. Not exactly first person shooter, but a giant mecha game based on Jane Austen is such a good idea. I might use it next year for Right Club. And instead of saying a first person shooter, I might say giant Gundam robot fighting things, right? I don't know, maybe. Very simple one, good one, Anarchy and Sensibility. Going with the same title, we have Sense, Sensibility, and Senseless Violence, which has that nice repetition all the way through of sense, sense, sense. It uses sense and sensibility is what Austen used, and you take it up a notch to senseless violence. Darcy Nukem Forever. We probably don't have that IP, but it made me chuckle. Sense and Sensibility. Sensibility. Probably wouldn't get through the publishers. They'd be like, really? That's the name? Really? But everybody at the studio would be excited by it. And finally, Enter the Gungeon. Yeah. But Enter the Gungeon is as far as I know, it's a play on Enter the Dungeon. Is it something else? Is Gungeon something? Yeah. Okay. And finally, Killzone Persuasion, which again, we don't have the IP for Killzone. Somebody would probably sue us, but with the colon, Killzone Persuasion. And I like the idea that the real first-person shooter persuading is done at the end of a gun. So that was pretty good. I enjoyed them. I had a good time. Let's get to this week's Right Club, which I will publish right now, and I will screen share it with you. Sure. So one of the things that writers have to do, like everybody thinks that game writers just write the story and then they're done, right? And what you really spend most of your time doing is naming items, right? Somebody's got to come up with the names for all those silly fantasy weapons and clothes and armor. And guess what? That's generally the writer, because once the story is done, they still have to pay them, so they still have to do work. So especially for like an MMO, or any kind of action RPG. I worked on an action RPG, and they would come to me in the morning and say, we need 50 names for hats, and they can't just be +2 hat. You got to have like good names. I was like, okay, 50 is a lot. You will around 10 or 15, you're like, I don't know, hat. I got down to do-rag of dexterity. And they're like, we're set in ancient Greece. I don't think they had do-rags in ancient Greece. And I'm like, it's a hat. It's a hat. So you are all gainfully employed at an MMO company. And it is making an MMO set in the American Civil War. Okay. So we have tons of items that our players can find and equip. You need to name some items. Okay. So for instance, they should be named items that can't just be like +2 rifle of shooting, right? Just don't just add a plus to it and call it done. These are the awesome things, right? Actually, let me see if I can see chat because I see people typing.
Rifle of shooting is a great name.
You think? I don't know. I just came up with it now. I guess that's why they pay me the big bucks. So the example I came up with is Sherman's Marchers, which right there evokes, you know exactly what that those are. They're boots, right? Even though they're not boots of marching, they're Sherman's Marchers. Sherman was a general in the American Civil War, and he is famous for leading a march to the sea and burning everything in his wake. So you notice I didn't give any stats for it. That's generally for the designers to do, not the writers. So these might be, add 30% to your movement speed, right? Or who knows, they might even, anytime you hit someone wearing Sherman's Marchers, you take, I don't know, some flame damage because Sherman burned everything behind him. It's evocative, and the designers will see that and say, well, what can we do with Sherman's Marchers? Are they faster, or do they set things on fire? Do they stomp on things? What do they do? So as usual, come up with as many as you can. Send me 3 by Thursday at midnight. Shorter is always better. You can include a short description, Sherman's Marchers, you move 30% faster. You can do the work of the designer if you want. In my experience, designers don't want their work done for them. They want you to be the clever writer, and they want to come up with the stats, right? There are 2 things, just like last time, to evoke: the American Civil War and stuff, an equipable item of some sort. Notice I say hairstyles count. Feel free to do your research. Watch Ted Turner's production of Gettysburg, which has uh, the true star of that movie is everyone's facial hair. It is some amazing facial hair during the Civil War. If you don't know anything about the Civil War, feel free to Google or Bing. Um, I keep including Bing just because it's the scrappy underdog. Um, and include only your best three, and only one needs to be good. Right? I noticed a number of you just sent me one, and frankly, okay, you could do that. It just seems uh, um, like uh, um, you're not availing yourself of two chances, right? If I give you three wishes and you're like, nah, I'll just take one. Well, okay, you got one wish then. Um, but if that one doesn't turn out too great, then you've thrown away your other two chances. So um, there's nothing wrong with just sending me one, but remember that you got three tries. Uh, I'm going back to everyone knows. Oh wow, lots of stuff on the chat while I was looking at that crap. Rifle of shooting is a great name. Bayonet of stabbing, cannon of blasting. Yeah, explosive of exploding. We always joked that every bar in Dungeons and Dragons is called the verbing noun, because it is the um I they give you points for using Bing, and you can trade those points in for like $5 gift cards on Xbox, if you have enough. I have, I think, 150,000 points. I do not use Bing. I just, every time they send me an email that says take this survey, or take this quiz to get 40 points, I take all the quizzes that are available and get all the points. So okay, so that's Right Club. That's the first thing. You did great last week. So let's go back to assignments, and I put up D&D basics and character sheets. I wish I could see the chat. Share. Okay. Now, let me see. Alt H. Yes. See, now this time I hit Alt H and I get the chat. I have no idea why. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. What cut right out? If you got the Right Club assignment, you are good.
So Eddie's internet went out.
Oh, okay. Go to Canvas and get the Right Club. Okay. So next, D&D basics. First off, this file here is a free PDF that Wizards of the Coast put out to get people excited. Yeah, Nick, I used you as an example. Get people excited about D&D. It explains basically just wizard, cleric, rogue, and fighter, right? So there are lots of other characters, classes, types available. So if you go to, in fact, I'm going to open, let's see, can you still see this? Yes. So if we go, this is what's called the SRD. I forget what SRD stands for. Standard rules, something or other. So uh, this has all the rules to D&D 5.0. I'm going to say okay to cookies. And but none of the pictures, right? So these are all the classes available in Wizards of the Coast's D&D 5. Here's all the races. You've got equipment. You've got all the spells available to everybody, so you can look them all up online, and you can have this open while you're playing. It's fine. The basic how to do combat, and the basic ideas of D&D are in this PDF. Give it a read. You don't have to read all of it. You'd read your class, your race, and I would say look at the basics of adventuring and the basics of combat, and you're good. Then, or before then, this is a Google folder with a big pile of
here's a result from search.
A big pile of pre-generated characters. When you're in a D&D group, and we're going to do that next, the way I do it is just as the DM, I send out the link and say, hey, go pick characters, first come, first serve. So if somebody says, I want the Drow Rogue, and then the next person comes along and got really excited about the Drow Rogue, but sees that somebody else picked it, they have to pick something else. There are, I don't know, 9 or 10 characters there. So pick one of those. Please, please, please don't roll up your own. I used to have people in this class roll up their own, and it gives an unfair advantage, which you probably already have, to people who have played before, but also the people who have never played. It added like 2 hours of working with the DM to get a character rolled up. So this is to save time with the DMs, and keep it moving. That's the number one thing with D&D, is always want to try and keep it moving, because it can bog down very, very quickly. Then once you've picked a character and read the basics, or even before, go to roll20.net. Here, I'm going to go there. This is roll20.net, and you can see I've got a couple of games here, but you can make an account, right? And my favorite picture of me, make an account. It's free, and once you do, get out your email and send your DM what email account you use to make an account here on Roll20. Okay. You don't have to use your WPI account. You can use your Hotmail trash account. I don't care. It's just that the DM needs to know what your email address that you made the account with to invite you to a game, right? And then they will send you an invite. Once you get that invite, DMs should the character, Brian, we're gonna make groups in a minute. By the time class is over today, you will know who your DM is. So once you have an account and your DM says, I added you to the game, go to the game, open up the PDF of the character you had, and you hopefully should see your character. I just named him the characters in the folder don't have actual names. They just say half elf bard or half orc paladin or drow rogue or whatever. And so that's what I called each of the characters and left everything else blank and assigned each character to one of my players. And DMs, you're going to have to do that. And there are, I guess I can put up tutorials on how to do that. Nick seems to know Roll20 better than I do. So if you have questions about Roll20, I recommend asking Nick. Because I've been working with Roll20 for about 2 weeks. And I think Nick's got a little bit more experience. But if that's okay, Nick, a little bit. It's not really hard to assign a character to a player. And once the you as a player have a character, you can open up. In fact, I'll do it. Let's go to open link in new tab. Hold on, let me stop the share real quick so I don't give anything away. Launch the game. Let me just put it on a neutral screen so you guys can all see a map. Here we go. And okay. So, getting back to Zoom. Sorry. Zoom. Share screen. There we are. Okay. And Alt H. Okay. Now it's coming up. Okay, that'd be great, Nick. Make a video tutorial for the DMs because I was looking for one. Actually, on how to fill out the character sheet. And I got a lot of tutorials on how DMs should assign players to characters and give a token to the character. But I got nothing on, hey, I'm a player and there's this whole weird thing of how do I enter everything in this character sheet. So I'm going to go over here, and these are all my players, the names of their characters. In fact, Sebastian said he thought Spider's character was the best character sheet. Great, I'll use that one. You notice here it says once I clicked on Spiders, we got bio and info. We've got just the token for the character, but you can actually type stuff in here if you want. You can give a whole backstory to your character. I was born a farmer, and raiders came and they killed my parents, and now I have a vendetta, which is fine. But what I care about is clicking over to this character sheet. And I'm going to expand it a little bit. And you see this one's done already, but you start with inputting, ooh, somebody's in chat? No. Oh, I just rolled, I think. Did I roll? No, that's Spider. Yes, I rolled a strength check by doing that. But what I want you to do is fill out everything. Put all these numbers in because they'll all be zeros essentially, and put all your personality traits, your ideals, your bonds. Put it all into this. It'll be over here So for instance, this is the Drow Rogue. And if you go to the Google Drive, this is what you get. And you got all the numbers here. What I want you to do is take all the numbers and all your spell stuff and your equipment and transfer it over to this sheet. The idea being that just by doing that, you will become more familiar with your character and familiar enough with the online character sheet to make playing the game a little bit easier. So when you've done that, I want you to take a screenshot of this particular character sheet, right? So let me see. I think you should be able to get all of it in, but as much as possible. Let me see that it's all filled out and submit it to here, to Canvas. JPEGs or PNG is fine, whichever. And for that, you get 4 points. And that's due on Friday. I figure the majority of people will be playing over the weekend. That's what usually happens. Although, who knows, with weird quarantining, everybody's home and doesn't care and just wants to talk to people at night. So maybe you'll play during the week, but it's due Friday. And then, just like I said, everybody should have played the adventure by next Monday. I want to talk about it next Monday. Okay. So that gives you not quite a week. It gives you 6 days. And DMs, you already have this done. So you could just take your screenshot and submit and you're done. In fact, Nick, you are the example. So, okay. So there's that. That's D&D basics. Let me. Resume share. Let me stop the share. Okay. So I think. Let me check. Is there anything else? Games. Oh, the reading quiz is up. That's due on Friday. Again, remember, Right Club, if you're putting more than a half hour into it, you're putting too much effort. Reading quiz, once you've done the reading, it should take you 5-10 minutes. So it feels like there's a lot of things, but these are all really quick things, hopefully. Reading quiz is up. And oh, what happened? Everything flashed. That was weird. My whole computer flashed. Okay. So it is 3:30, 3:35. So I think that's. Any questions about D&D? No, seems okay. If Nick, if you put together a tutorial, put it on the Discord, and I'll link to it from the 4:00 class too. Oh, that's what we have to do. Make groups. Thank you. So I knew there was something else about D&D that I had to do. So share screen again. What's going on? All my shared screens are gone. Wait. This is weird. Okay. Dismiss. Sorry, technical difficulties. Um, yeah, all those things. The Zoom moved. Share screen. Well, let's go with that one. Okay, can you see the canvas?
Yep.
Okay. I think I'm just sharing my entire desktop at this point.
Appear to be.
Yeah. Okay. So in Canvas, go to People. And then, well, actually, let's go to Student View so I can see what you guys see. Student View. Okay, now I'm in Student View. Go to People in Canvas. And then go to Groups. And you should see, wow, this is getting to be a mess for you guys. I'm sorry. You should see 4 D&D playing groups, and each one has one person in it. These are your 4 DMs. Each one can hold up to 6 students, because I would like if everybody to have 4 before we get to the 5th. So in the chat DMs, maybe you could put in the chat when you'd prefer to play, so that what we found, usually what I do this by having my DMs in the 4 corners of the room, and people wander to each of the 4 corners to say, I'm not going to be around this weekend. Are you going to play before the weekend? And the DM that says, yeah, let's play Wednesday, that's the one that they jump into. So if you could, I don't have chat again.
So Sebastian is saying that his group will be playing 2 a.m. Eastern on Thursdays.
Really? Are you kidding, Sebastian?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a joke.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
can you see the chat now?
yes, I can.
Okay. I'm like, okay, students, go figure, whatever, 2 a.m.
Okay, so let me get back to, so go join groups. Okay, so Aaron, also note that each of the DMs has a little, I don't know, a little person figure next to them. That means they're the leader of the group. I'm not sure exactly what that confers on you, but please use your powers wisely and only for good. So it looks like Nick has a full group. Sebastian has 2. Let me refresh. Somebody get in with Olivia. Okay, so right now it looks like Sebastian is full and Nick is full. Aaron has 3 out of 4. Aaron is full. Olivia? Anybody have particular times?
So Olivia said what time?
Aaron says she'd prefer to play on weekends. Nick says weeknight or a Sunday night. Sebastian says Wednesday or the weekend. I
didn't see Olivia on there.
Olivia does fun voices. Any preferences?
What time, Olivia?
When do you think you might be playing? I'm usually busy Thursday night and Saturday night. Okay, so not Thursday or Saturday, um, but you can get in there. So and remember, um, so we've got 2 of these groups actually have to do 5 because we have 23 people in class. Um, so if you're in, so right now it
I'm
looks like
seeing
Aaron has 5.
Olivia has 5. Aaron has 6.
No, Aaron.
Sebastian has
Oh,
5.
Aaron has 6, but that includes Aaron. See what I'm saying?
It says 5 out of 6 students, or 6 out of 6.
Yeah.
So Aaron's full.
Well, yes, Aaron is full. I limited it to 6. That's 1 DM and 5 players.
Right.
So uh I Olivia needs more players. She should have at least 1 more. And then there's probably 1 more person who's going to go to one of them, unless they've dropped the class. I don't know. So there's 23 people in the class. That means there are uh, 4
Yeah, I
4
think
groups of 5 and 3 extra or something like that.
so. I've been refreshing the page. Eddie's got a point that I've been refreshing the page, and I'm showing everybody's got 5 out of 6 students, except Nicholas has 6 out of 6.
Yeah, and that's fine. Nick, Nick has a full 5-player group.
Right.
So he's fine, and everybody else is at least full. And there may be someone who's not in class today, right?
Right.
Who will either join hopefully within the next 24 hours, or email me and say, I don't have a group, and then I'll put them in a group. So DMs, please use Canvas mail or WPI email, either way, to contact your players, and make sure that everybody has everybody's email address to both schedule and choose characters. Okay. And get the ball rolling. Yay, we're gonna play D&D. Okay, I'm gonna stop now because I have 7 minutes left. I want to talk about, how do you spell that noise in my group? Okay. Yay, that's how I spell that noise. Yay. Okay, so you're supposed to play Passage and Facade. Let's do Passage first because it's 5 minutes long. We have 6 minutes to talk about it. We'll probably pick it up again on Thursday. Passage is kind of old. Made by a guy named Jason Rohrer. Anybody know who Jason Rohrer is? Anybody ever heard of Jason Rohrer before? Rohrer? Yes? No? Nope. Okay. Well, he's one of the few game developers / designers who has been Eddie, you got to go buy you don't have to buy the adventure yet. Play the adventure, and after you've played it, then buy the adventure and read it. Just let you know. Okay. So Jason Rohrer, last year before, the Wellesley College Art Museum had an art exhibit of his games. Right. There was a big to do probably 7, 8 years ago, when the Smithsonian first did an exhibit of video games that somehow, wow, video games are now in the Smithsonian, and that legitimizes them as art somehow. Jason Rohrer was part of Forbes 30 under 30 back when he was under 30. He's not under 30 anymore. He was living, I believe, in a meadow in Vermont, because he wouldn't cut his lawn, because lawns are unnatural, and his neighbors threatened to make him somehow mow his meadow, and he refused, and he won, and he didn't have to mow his meadow. They lived in a house in Vermont. He has 2 kids, I think. And despite being famous, I don't believe he's rich. He is comfortable, but he does work for hire outside of his art games. Passage was really the first game of his that got him noticed. It's small, right? It's a 5-minute, is it 8-bit, right? It's low res graphics. There's nothing particularly technologically interesting about Passage as a program. It's not whiz bang graphics. It's chip tunes, right? It's barely MIDI music. There is no dialogue. It's only 5 minutes long. Did anybody do nothing for 5 minutes and see what happened? Yes. What happened, Avery? Oh, you didn't know it was the arrow keys. What happened after 5 minutes? You thought it was a cutscene and you died. Okay. So even there is no tutorial. One cutscene. Yeah, it's existential. Played games on my phone. Yeah, it's out for everything. Right? The webpage has it for Linux, Mac, Windows, and iPhone. I'm not sure if there's an Android version. But you can play it in 5 minutes, or you can sit there and it still ends in 5 minutes. I can't imagine it would, by doing nothing, it doesn't really hold your interest, I would think. But it does describe a life, right? Or it attempts to describe a life. You start walking, you're a young man. Also, it's been criticized for being kind of male-centric. The only companion you can possibly have is a redheaded woman. And you can choose to join with her or not. Did anybody never find her? Well, Eddie, who didn't move, probably didn't find her. But if you go to the right, you will immediately, very shortly, you will find a woman. And if you bump into her, a little heart comes out, um, and you are theoretically in love. Um, and then for the rest of your little journey, you you are wider, right? Instead of being this wide, you're this wide. So you can't get to some of the same places you would be. Um, I found her and I walked almost all the way to the end because I didn't realize I had a choice of walking down and treasure hunting. But it's legit to walk there. I don't think there is an end. There, in terms of space, it will keep going as far as you can go. Um, you didn't know there were treasures until you Googled it. Uh, but again, that's fine. If you never discover a treasure, you've still played the game. There are actually two kinds of treasures. There are stars and dust. Stars give you more points. Um, dust gives you nothing. You get points for moving to the right, right? Um, do you get points if you? I know once I've moved to the right, if I start going back to the left, I stop getting points. Um, yeah, up in the upper right hand corner, there's a point counter. What do the points represent? Dunno. Um, success, money, because we have treasure chests. Um, well, it also does represent time passing, because even though, well, I'm not sure if they go up if you don't move, but I know they go up. They don't. Okay, thank you. Um, they don't go up if you move to the left. They do go up if you move to the right. So it's really some sort of counter um, of how far you got. Um, but even that is kind of arbitrary, because what if you don't care about your points, right? We'll pick this up on Thursday. I'm over time. Um, if you haven't played Passage, go play Passage and actually move around. Go down and go to the right and see what happens. Spend another 5 minutes with it, even on your phone. And DMs, get your D&D on. Organize, and I will see you all on Thursday. Thank you.